hate doing intros. I hate them. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another edition of Curator's Couch. And thank you so much to everyone who's been engaging so far. I really, really do appreciate it. It means a lot. And today we have another very, very special guest. I've been looking forward to this one. We have our second artist on the show, actually. And she's not only an artist, she's an entrepreneur as well. Has her own little jewelry brand, right? Her name is Marcelina. First question I want to start off by asking you is who is your producer? Because I need to know who makes all these fire instrumentals. Like I really do love all the beats and instrumentals that are on your songs. Do you work with the same producer, or is it like a variety of people you work with?
So a lot of the first kind of tracks that I released were made by like different producers that I found online, and I actually made one of them as well, like from scratch.
Okay.
I tried to get into beat making, but it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So it's something I definitely want to venture into in the future, but I feel like right now I'm more focused on perfecting like the projects I'm already working on. And for a lot of the tracks I released this year, no, not 2021, 2020, were all produced by the same like very talented producer,
Okay.
like one of my friends. So he produced a lot of he produced the 5 singles I released the past 5 singles,
Okay.
and also the 6 songs that are going to be on my upcoming EP.
Okay. I see you've been kind of going with the singles so far. Have you? Yeah, obviously you're planning on releasing an EP soon. How about an album? Is that coming up soon or?
So initially, actually, like the singles I released were meant to be a part of an album. So like
Okay.
I've been working on this project for 2 years, and initially it was meant to be an album of 11 songs. So the reason 11 is because the project is called Infinity, and 11 is like a number of synchronization and like kind of an angel number, like, you know, people say 11, 11, kind of.
Yeah.
So I wanted the tracks to have like that kind of divine numerology. But then me and some people decided that were like helping me in the process decided that it would be better for marketing to kind of split that up, since I have never released like a big project before, and I think it's a bit overwhelming to have like 11 songs like in people's face, like, okay, like here's 11 songs, you know. So we decided to split it up, and I decided to do 5 singles to kind of like hype up, you know, the sound of the EP and get people interested and get like more of an understanding of who I am as an artist now that I've been developing my sound more. And then I decided to do the other 6 tracks as an EP, which will be my first official kind of thing that I put out as an artist. So after that, I don't know, like I probably will start thinking about like making an album, but I'm not sure. Like I just need to put this thing out first, and then I'll just see where the like universe takes me from there.
So who do you kind of turn to for your like marketing tips, or how to like, you know, kind of put yourself out there? Because the thing you mentioned as well about starting off with the singles, it's kind of like obviously it's a very mainstream example, but like the Russ template, I guess, because he would, you know, put out a song or 2 a week for a year or something. And yeah, I guess a lot of newer artists have kind of been looking to that and seeing how that formula worked for him and kind of trying to copy it. So I think it's a great idea, honestly, to start off with lots of singles, because I mean, mashallah, you're very talented, and I know that there's so much potential just from hearing the songs that you have out now. And yeah, I guess the hardest thing about that is figuring out the best way to market yourself, because like obviously the talent's already there, and mashallah, I'm not trying to like ihsid or anything, but
Thank you.
Yeah, so who do you turn to for your marketing? Is it all you, or do you have like a circle of people helping you? Or
I don't really have like a specific team of people that help me. Like I kind of do everything independently, But I do like gather advice from different artists that I trust and other people that have released music kind of give me like tips. Over the time, I've just met like different people that have given me like different bits of pieces of information that I kind of just like store for myself. Because you know everyone has different like perceptions on how things should be
Yeah.
released and how you should market yourself as an artist and stuff. And like I've had a lot of different opposing opinions, so like kind of you just have to find a middle ground and see where you stand about like what you want to do, because you never know, like people might not have the best intentions or might not really know what they're saying, like because there's just so much happening in the industry at the moment that like you don't, as a new artist, you can get very confused. So I tend to trust people that I know like have had their fair share in like making music, and kind of just trust my own intuition as well when it comes to just like what I feel guided to do.
Have you had any like mentors that are artists as well that are helping you out? Shout them out. I mean, if they're
Any mentors? Honestly, no.
really
No.
just been solo, huh?
Honestly, no. Like
Okay.
there's like I have the one thing that like drives me the most is like my friends and family that support me. Like I feel like they're the people I would shout out, you know, like my mom, my parents, my family, like my amazing friends that like support my craft and my vision, are definitely the people that I would say are kind of like that support system. But as like a specific mentor, somebody that like is guiding me through my experience is like very solo.
It's refreshing to hear though that your mom, like you said, is very supportive and she's helping you out. That's great to hear. I mean, it's not very common, you know, with kids who have creative passions in our region. So that's nice to hear.
Yeah, she's very supportive from the get-go. She's been very supportive, and she loves like how I express myself, and she never wants to put any limitations. So she doesn't mind if I curse or I go off in my music. She loves it. She really loves it.
That's beautiful to hear. I like that. I love that. And she does some of your artwork as well, right?
Yes.
For like the album covers.
Yeah. She's also a very talented artist.
Okay.
And she used to be a graphic designer, so she actually did make a lot of the graphics for the past 5 singles that I released. So like she did all the graphics for them, and it's like very amazing.
Yeah, I love them. They're really cool. Nice. So, talk to me a little bit about your creative process, like when you first get an idea for a song, from that point to the point where you release it. Like, what are the steps you have to go through? Um, how do you get an idea for a song, and how do you like implement it, and just like your process, I guess, from start to finish, like how does that look?
So it really depends. Like every song that I've made kind of has had its own process. Sometimes I get inspired by feelings that I have, and like a lot of like when I started making music, it was just simply off of like, okay, I feel like this. How can I express this without like causing like problems, in my life? Like how can I like just like put out how I'm feeling without like having to like kind of say it to someone? So like I just would turn to music and kind of writing. Like I love everything that you hear is like written by me, like nothing has been co-written so it's all like my own words and things that I feel. So that's kind of like, usually it comes from a place of passion, so just like feeling something really intensely and wanting to like put it out creatively. Sometimes I write songs from like I'll have a beat sent to me and kind of listen to that, and off of that I will like start like harmonize, like humming, like finding a melody, like then kind of creating a story in my mind of like where does the beat take me, like where does the sound take me, like what feeling does it invoke in me, what do I want to write to this. So sometimes it's just like storytelling. I create like false scenarios in my mind that's kind of like giving the listener a very vivid image of what I'm saying. They can create like a story. That's basically what my entire upcoming EP is. It's like very visual, like imagery, and like you can hear the stories in what I'm writing a lot more than like I think I've done that with like most of my songs, but I think like it's a very clear like
Yeah.
energy that is gonna come through when people hear my upcoming EP. And sometimes I'll just be sitting with someone talking like we are right now, and like you'll say something, like a sentence that like I'm like, okay, like I'll be talking to you, looking at you, and I'm like repeating what you just said in my mind because I'm gonna write it down later and like go off of that and like write a song. Like I literally it's
So it's
super
from
random.
everywhere, from
Everywhere,
anyone. Yeah.
everywhere. Like everything that I see and I experience, like that flower right there might inspire me to like write a song.
Yeah.
Like it's just very random.
Nice. It's so interesting to hear that because like, I love music. I listen to music all the time. Like every hour of every day, whenever I can, I'm listening to music. And throughout like what I've been doing so far and talking to artists, just hearing about the process from start to finish is it's just so interesting for me to hear because I'm like, okay, like this is why I feel this way when I listen to this type of song or this type of song, or I get it more now, I guess. But would you say that like the artists that you listen to are similar to the music that you put out? Because I don't know if you, for me personally, one artist that I found you very, very similar to, not in terms of like genre or anything, but maybe vocals just a little bit. I don't know. Have you heard of the Marias?
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I do like the
yeah.
Marias a lot.
I,
Yeah.
I find like a bit of similarities in your
Mm.
vocals and some of the instrumentals. Like they have a variety of stuff, obviously, but a few specific ones. So would you say that the music you listen to is very similar to the music you put out, or it's very left field? It's like different.
Um, my music is definitely um, not a fully accurate representation of what I listen to because I do listen to a lot of music, like a
Yeah,
lot of different types
yeah.
of music. Like I don't. It really depends on what phase I'm in and like how I'm
What's
feeling.
like your range of genres, like
Um,
from weirdest to like the normal stuff, I guess.
so I definitely grew up listening to a lot of reggae and a lot of like classical music at home, kind of disco, like Bee Gees type
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
like so that's like kind of my upbringing, like a lot of just reggae, like that was my
I
favorite.
can't believe you said that because reggae is my favorite genre
Really?
by far. Like, if whoever's listening to this and knows me knows I listen to reggae all the time, like all day, every day,
Insane.
like
Yeah, it's like probably my all-time favorite genre of music.
same.
And I really love reggae music. And also like, so as I grew older, I started listening to a lot of like psychedelic rock. So like Woodstock era, 60s,
Okay.
70s. Like
Yeah.
I do love a lot of rock music. Also old school hip hop and like trap. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
listen
yeah.
to like there's a lot of like I can listen to like Uno the Activist or like
Yeah.
like you know be listening to Fleetwood Mac kind of like
Yeah.
so my variety of like music that I listen to is just very, it jumps a lot.
I can relate to that for sure.
So I don't know if that kind of what inspires me the most like for my songs that I'm releasing is a lot of like independent female artists that are kind of experimental. I think that's like a lot of the influence that I've been getting for my upcoming EP. A big influence was this independent artist named Savda Liza. She's I'm pretty sure she's from Iran, and she's like, I just get inspired by a lot of female artists that are not afraid to be like unconventional and like put out, you know, their own sound that hasn't kind of been done before. So that's like mainly who I got my inspiration from is like those type of artists. So it might just be someone that I randomly find,
Yeah.
rather than like my sound being a culmination of like the music I listen to. But I do definitely want to venture out and make different types of tracks,
Yeah.
like reggae, hopefully,
Yeah.
inshallah.
That would be a good one. That would be an experimental one there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say what would you say like the music you make falls under like which genre would you say? I think to give you like an outsider's perspective, maybe a bit of like alternative R&B vibes, maybe there's also some old like alternative not funk but like rock-ish. I don't know, like it's it's very hard to like kind of just say one genre for it, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
if you had to categorize it, I guess what would you say it would be?
It's definitely a very difficult question to answer
Yeah.
because I jump a lot in my music. Like you can hear like one song's like gives more trap energy, one song's like very
Yeah.
jazzy. So like it really depends. I don't know. I think what I can tell you is like my upcoming project that I'm putting out, I kind of like created this genre for it, which I would say is psychedelic R&B with
Okay.
undertones of trap
Okay.
and kind of like ambient noises that are like just like very like kind of take you like out of this
Yeah.
earth kind of
Yeah, yeah,
vibe.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's what I would say my upcoming project is, but I don't, as an artist, I don't think I ever really want to be a certain
Yeah.
genre, which is like very cliche to say, but it's just the truth.
No, but it makes sense. I mean, like even just being a creative like you are, you're not just a musician. You know, you're doing your jewelry stuff as well. So obviously, when you're doing music, you don't want to just be. You don't want people to just box you into one little thing. Obviously, you can't control what people say or do or think of you or what genre they categorize you as, but um, I guess the only way you could kind of combat that is just making all different types of music and being experimental and just having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But what about your jewelry brand? Tell me a little bit about that. You know, when did you start it?
I'm actually wearing one of the
Okay.
necklaces I made last night.
Nice.
So
Do you make them all yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was like a very random like hobby I just picked up really randomly like over the quarantine. I was just like I never thought I would make like jewelry.
Yeah.
But I just one day was like, oh, I want to make this, and then like I made it. I got like the materials, and I was like, okay, I like this, I enjoy this, and I just started like going from there. And I wanted to incorporate crystals into like my jewelry making, and kind of like that's like kind of the main focus of the jewelry I make. So it's just something I really enjoy to do, and I felt like in the UAE I didn't see many like people that were selling crystal-based jewelry that was handmade. So I wrap crystals with wires, and you can just wear them, and like you can choose your crystal and kind of like set your intention into it and like what you want it to do for you while you're wearing it. And then also I was making waist beads, which are kind of like you just like wear them around your belly, and necklaces. And I got very creative with it. Like I don't know, I changed constantly what I'm making. So I made like a keychain for my friend the other day, and I made like these like little elf kind of ear things with wires. I just like to like craft a lot. So it just really depends on how I'm feeling.
I can definitely tell the waist beads have a little bit of inspiration from the reggae and the Caribbean stuff.
Yeah.
I see that all the time in like their music videos and their culture and stuff. It's a fascinating culture, to be honest. I love it. But I can kind of tell from your profile and from the way you're talking about crystals and all of this that you're a very spiritual person, and you're kind of very into like the tarot card readings and all of those things. And I've experimented with them a little bit. I mean I wouldn't say I know any. I'm not an expert on any of that stuff at all, but I do consider myself a bit of a spiritual person in other regards besides all of that. Do you find that because I feel like there's a bit of like weird stereotypes about some of these things, but I think at the end of the day, it's all about making yourself a better person, and if that helps somebody do that, then why think negatively about it? You know what I mean? I kind of just want to know how, I guess, how you know your spirituality and being in touch with like yourself and your mental health and well being plays into your creative processes. So, for example, like if you're having a shit day, say, and like nothing's going your way, would that kind of would you put that energy into making a song about, feeling that way, or would you just be completely turned off from making any sort of music and just be like, I'll do it another day? Or
Okay, I get what you're saying. So definitely, like, I think anyone who kind of like comes across my Instagram or comes across my like me can like kind of tell, as you said, that I'm a spiritual person, and it's definitely like my daily practice, like just the way I like perceive life and everything around me and how I like approach situations is always from a very conscious place. And so because I feel like over time through my spirituality, I've gained like a deeper sense of self-awareness. If I'm feeling like very low and like I'm not, I feel like I don't really want to do something. Like, for example, I have taken like long breaks from like making music and creative things. Just, I honestly just go with how I'm feeling. I never forced myself to, like if I'm not feeling like doing something, like I never want music to feel, or anything creative that I do, to feel kind of like a burden or a duty.
Yeah, like it's forced.
Yeah, because ultimately it's like, it's what I want to do and it's what makes me happy. And like, if I'm not feeling happy and I'm not feeling like I'm in the mood to create, I don't force myself to. I might express myself in other ways. I might just write something down that I want to look back at later. Or I just like, I'll talk to a friend about it, how I'm feeling, and kind of get like another perspective. But I usually tend to create when I'm feeling motivated and when I'm feeling in my element, like very grounded in myself, rather than if I'm feeling off balance, because I feel like that energy kind of comes through in music. And there's been a lot of instances where I've made songs when I'm feeling very low vibrational things like anger, and I don't like the messages I put across in those songs. So I try to put out music. I want to put out music that makes a positive influence in the listener's life. Doesn't necessarily need to be like, oh, be happy. But like, I don't want to be putting out messages that are negative, because that's just not how I am. So I try to avoid making things when I'm feeling low, because I don't want to, doesn't mean that I'm not going to put out a song about sadness or things that I felt, but I try and always come from a conscious place that I never want to belittle another person. But at the same time, I do have songs that I've put out that are kind of like come with that intense energy that's like, don't fuck with me, and that's okay. But I'm never trying to disrespect another person. And a lot of the time, it is like storytelling, it's a song. But I try to be I am very conscious of the things I put out. And there's nothing that you hear in my music that isn't thought out and like crafted to the T. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Nice. Would you say, what would you say is the realest shit you've ever written?
The realest shit I've ever written?
Shit you've ever wrote.
Like lyric? Or like
lyric.
Song?
Lyric, song. Or, lyric, actually. Shout out Montreality for that question idea, by the way.
This is a very difficult question, because I'm just like, I'm thinking of like all the songs I've put out. For some reason, my song Angel comes to mind. Like, it's the first song that came up in my head, so I'm just going to go with that. And in that song, it's kind of a very like honest experience that I had in my love life.
Okay.
And I feel like if you listen to that song, like, I'm not gonna like point out any specific lyrics, but I think that's like a very raw like look into like my mind and when I was experiencing that type of those emotions that I like put out in the song, where it was kind of like that type of situation where that song was like about another person, but it was also about me.
Okay.
And it was about, you know, like seeing the beauty in somebody who couldn't see it in themselves, and so they kind of like self-destruct, you know. But at the same time, it was like about me. So a lot of my songs kind of have like a dual, like I'll be inspired to write like something about a situation, but at the same time it'll be like personal about how I feel about myself and about, you know, I wouldn't say that there's like one song that I've ever written that's like completely about another person, because I think there's different segments and lyrics that kind of, it's just like my overall experience. So I would say that's one song that was like very real, and very personal.
Okay, nice. How long have you been doing music, by the way? When did you first start?
So I actually, like, singing was like the number one thing no one ever heard me do until I was like 16 years old.
Okay.
Like, I was very, very, very shy about my voice for some reason. My mom never heard me sing. I wouldn't even hum in the car. Like, it was a very, like, I don't know why. It was such a, like...
So it started off like a singing in the shower kind of thing?
Yeah, like...
To yourself only, right?
Yeah, it was very, very, very private. Like, I just didn't think I was, like, a good singer. Like, I don't know, I loved to sing and I loved music, and it's like literally everything to me.
Dude, your voice is beautiful, by the way. Like, mashallah, I can't believe you think that. Seriously.
Thank you so much. I think my voice has definitely developed like as I started singing more. But initially it was definitely something very like private and like not something I was like very shy. Like I was very like, my number one passion growing up was acting. So like I was always very involved in theater in my school, and like I wasn't ever shy in that sense. Like, I'm not afraid to go up on a stage and, like, act like a completely different person. Yeah. But, like, to sing was, like, no.
So
like,
no musicals even in high school?
No. Like, and if I auditioned, I would be too shy to, like, I would fuck up the audition type of thing, you know? Yeah. So,
So how did you break that? Like, how did you just be like, fuck it, like, I'm going to do this, and I'm good at it, and I'm...
Yeah, it was actually with the musical that I was like, okay, like, I have to prepare for this. I have to like take vocal lessons to like get my songs ready, whatever. So I told my mom, I was like, okay, like I want to sing. She's like, you want to sing? Like, okay, then sing, show me that. And I was like, no, please let me just do it. So I started going to like vocal lessons. Like, that was very short-lived because I didn't end up doing the musical.
Okay.
But from there, I started kind of opening up my voice more and like being honest with people around me. Like, okay, I like to sing, you know, it's whatever. And then that summer, I went to Lebanon and I was with my cousin. We were chilling one day and I was like, let's make a song. And then I'm just like, okay, let's do like an EDM song. Just like start messing around with like the garage band or whatever. And like, okay. And then somehow like it just completely like went away from that. And we started like, I got like a 21 Savage beat and I slowed it down. So I went from EDM to like 21 Savage beat. I slowed it down. And then I got some other instrumental and I like mixed them together. And then I was like, I started writing a song about some like stupid guy that like was just like my summer crush or whatever. And I was like, okay, like let's just write a song about him. Like just word for word, like every single detail about this person. He definitely knows it was about him. And then I was like, okay, this is kind of fire. And then I put it up on SoundCloud. And then it was insane. Like, I've never had a song that got so much recognition, like raw recognition instantly. It started getting thousands and thousands of plays in like a week or two. Oh, now the song's at like, I don't know, 20 plus K. But this was like, at that time I was like...
And it was the first song you've ever made,
First song, I never even, like, it wasn't even serious really. Like, I was like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna put out a song. Like, you know, because at that point I was like, just like, singing a little bit, putting covers here and there, kind of like very shy still. And then I put it out and I was like, okay. And ever since then, I haven't released a song that's been so successful from the get-go. Like it was just like, but I feel like that was kind of a sign for me. Like it was kind of like a push from the universe to be like, you should make music and that should be your, like, when it's the right time for you, you will be known and you will be heard. Yeah. Like, that's something I never doubt and I never question because I've seen it happen in my life, and I've had many instances that have pushed me to keep going whenever I felt like, oh, maybe I should give up. Like a miracle, literally miracles have happened that I'm like, this does not, like, how did this just happen? Like, there's no way, like,
Wow.
like, manifestation is real. Like,
Of course.
you need to keep going, like, trust your intuition. And I feel like my first song experience that I put out in 2016 was definitely kind of a pivotal moment for me as a creative individual, that I trust so deeply that, like, my music will be heard when the time is right. So I will keep creating until that time comes, and I will continue to create.
Wow, what a story. That's a crazy one. For your first song ever as well.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. How have you found it working with other artists and doing features and all of that? Because I know that's something lots of artists, when they first start doing it, they realize a lot of things and they struggle with it a little bit. Even the biggest artists I know, like when I watch their interviews, whoever it might be, when they mention first getting in the studio with someone else and like recording with someone else, there's always a bit of like creative differences here and there, few disagreements, but like obviously you learn a lot from that. So how are those experiences? How have they been for you? And I guess like what would you advise younger or like aspiring artists to do when approaching a situation like that?
Thankfully, I haven't had any negative experiences with features or anything like that. I haven't done that many features for others, and vice versa. Like, had features done with me. I actually don't know the number of how many features in general I've been a part of. I know
the latest song you put out.
Yeah, it was that was a feature. That was a very successful and very smooth, easygoing process. That artist was very, very sweet, and like we've never met, but it was like there was just a lot of harmony in the creation of that sound.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I haven't had any negative experiences, and I think I have a lot of people like approach as an artist. It's just like, you know, people approach you wanting to like collaborate. So I feel like I'm always very like, I evaluate the situation and the artist, and I see like, okay, do I feel like I can like flow with this person, or like do we have kind of a similar vision? And if yes, then I will usually go through with that like feature or like do it. But sometimes, you know, you just know from when somebody contacts you like that you're just not really on the same wavelength, so like you just don't feel that creative like fuel. So I guess I am not necessarily picky at all. Like, I'm always very open to working with people and hearing what people want to send me and stuff, but I'll be very honest if I don't really resonate with the sound or hear myself on that type of track. So in that sense, I feel like I'm very like particular in how I want to, because I like perfect my craft so much, and I really like care about what I put out and how, you know, my sound is to others. I also make sure that I don't kind of just do a song just for the sake of it with a random person that I don't like resonate with, or like for clout or whatever. Like, I'm very particular in that sense.
Yeah.
But I hope like in the future I'll have more opportunities to work with artists that inspire me, and people that I do resonate with, and like inshallah, like as I put more things out, it'll come into fruition.
Yeah. Inshallah. Well, to wrap up, I have 2 questions for you. First one is your top 3 songs in rotation right now, what you've been listening to, and second one is your favorite concert you've ever been to.
Okay, insane. I'll answer the concert first, because the 3 songs on rotation, I'm gonna have to check my phone.
No worries.
For that. My favorite concert I've ever been to. One concert that was, I don't know if I can pick ever, but I can pick one concert that really inspired me. I went to see 070 Shake.
Oh wow!
Do you know her?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
She's very talented. She's great.
It was a very, very, very inspiring experience to see her perform, and it was a very intimate setting. Like, that concert was very small. It was very like magical, and like seeing her up on that stage with just like expressing her authentic self. She's like one of those artists that like independent, kind of unconventional female artists that really inspire me. That was like a very one of my like I think all-time favorite experiences with music that I've ever had, and I actually tend to enjoy those concerts that kind of smaller artists have.
For sure, same, definitely, because they feel way more authentic and
Mm-hmm.
like you actually like you have an experience with the artist. Whereas if you go to like an arena with God knows how many people, it's kind of like I don't know. It's not the same, but I really relate to that. Like
Mm-hmm.
my favorite concert I've been to as well has been like a small band that not many people know of, and small venue, not many people were there, and yeah, it was a great experience because
Mm-hmm.
you have a relationship with them, and you feel like
Mm-hmm.
you live it when you finally see them, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, and I encourage people watching to support their local artists and
Definitely.
attend the concerts that their like kind of community of artists put out,
Yeah.
because like it's a very amazing experience to see people that are in your community perform, and like you do get that authentic like musical experience. And those are the concerts and like musical experiences I appreciate the most, is like those artists that I know personally that have their like concerts and like
Yeah.
their gigs, you know. It's
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
really nice to experience that.
Have you? Sorry to cut you off.
It's okay.
Have you performed like recently or in the past couple of years or in
I
Dubai?
actually have never performed
Never,
as
huh?
Marcelina.
Oh, okay.
It hasn't like, you know, I had a lot of plans, but COVID
Yeah, I know.
happened, and it kind of like, you know, on live performances have kind of gotten shut down a lot of the time in the past couple months, you know, like in the UK where I'm based here in the UK. I wanted to like I'm planning hopefully, depending on when I plan to release my EP, to kind of do like a live listening party kind of thing where I'll do like my first performance as me.
Okay.
So I'm really looking forward to start performing. That's something I really want, but I think it's gonna happen in perfect divine timing. So
Exactly.
I'll have my EP out by then, and then I'll have plenty of songs to choose to perform.
Okay, nice. And your top 3 songs, I guess?
Okay, I'm gonna try and remember. My top 3 songs. Can I grab my phone?
Yes, of course
Okay.
you can. Of course.
I Forgot to Be Your Lover by William Bell. That's one.
Okay.
That's kind of been on repeat. It's like an oldie.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see. Also, there's a song called Buddha by Finn Foxell. So he's like a UK London artist, which is like very, very nice vibe.
Okay.
So if y'all wanna listen.
Yeah, they're gonna be on the screen, so.
Oh, okay, cool.
Scan them to listen.
And then the last one, I would say, like there's too many, honestly, is this is the hardest fucking question you could literally ever ask me. Okay, this is a song that was on repeat. It's called Only You by Theophilus London.
Okay, yeah.
That song is like
one
of my all-time favorites. So like I think that's
a very good song.
Yeah, these are all like good vibe songs.
Yeah. I like the last one. I haven't heard the other two, but I'm gonna check them out for sure. Alright guys, thanks for watching thus far. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate you. Check out Marcelina's Spotify, her Instagram, check out her YouTube, her Apple Music, check out all of her stuff. It's going to be linked. Support your local artist, show her some love. She's super talented. I really enjoyed that conversation. Seriously, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come have a conversation with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, it was a pleasure. I really enjoyed that. That was a great conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you guys. All right.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Of course.
It was a very free-flowing conversation.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
Perfect timing as well with the camera.